Alright, guys. Hello. Welcome to my little rant. We'll see how little it is about the One Piece live action that came out recently. Came out about a week ago now. Actually, less than a week ago. Hasn't been a week since it's come out. But I've taken the time to do a little binge, right? So I've watched all 8 episodes. I hope this is showing. I hope this is recording. So I've watched all 8 episodes here of the live action. Um, and yeah, I want to talk about it because, well, I wasn't planning to make a video on this anyway. I was really planning to talk about it. I was planning to watch it anyway, whether it was good or bad or whatever else. But after I just finished it, not a couple minutes ago. Actually, I finished the last episode here, episode 8, West and East, a couple minutes ago. And yeah, I have things I want to say, and I have let's get into it. So let's talk about the live action. So first, One Piece live action. Okay, what a crazy concept to begin with. The fact that One Piece got a live action is insane. And live actions, as you all know, anime live actions don't have the best of reputation. Um, I have seen a few myself. I've not seen many, and I've never watched an entire one fully. Actually, One Piece is the first one I've watched the entirety of, and yeah, every single experience I've had has not been great. I've heard the Rurouni Kenshin live action is good, but I never got around to watching that. I've heard of Alita Battle Angel, Alice in Borderland. I've heard of other live actions, but I've only checked out the stuff that are like Dragon Ball Evolution. That was a terrible movie. Actually, I did watch the entirety of Dragon Ball Evolution. That was terrible. I checked out a little bit of Death Note. Yeah, that was bad. The Cowboy Bebop one, pretty bad. I believe that was also made by Tomorrow Studios, the ones that this the studio behind this live action, the One Piece one. That was also pretty horrific. I never finished either of those, but I finished the One Piece live action, and I'll start off generally, right? I'll start off with the general stuff, and then we'll get into more things, and I will spoil regarding spoilers in case you're wondering if there's gonna be spoilers or not. I'll start off generally, so I won't be spoiling anything. But then once I get into the spoilers, I will only spoil things that happen within the East Blue Saga, of both the live action and the anime manga, by the way. So obviously the live action just changed a lot from how the anime manga did things, but I will only spoil things up to the East Blue Saga. So don't worry about spoilers from after the East Blue Saga for things that happen in One Piece after the point of the live action. Okay, so just gonna give that little warning, spoiler warning there. Okay, so let's get into it generally. What did I think about the live action overall, right? Yeah, I binged it all over the course of the last couple of days. It came out 5 days ago, I believe. Yeah, last Thursday, I think. I think it came out on Thursday last week. So, yeah, I've spent basically the last 3 days really. I didn't watch. Well, the first 2 days I didn't watch any episode, and then the last 3 days or so I've been binging the episodes here and there, watching like 2 episodes a day ish, something like that. A little more maybe. Some days I'd watch 3 episodes, and I think I watched episode one the first day, and then I watched episode two and three and four, and then I watched episode five and six and seven. I'm not too sure, but basically, well, I just finished watching seven and eight. Did I watch six? I watched six, seven, and eight. Yeah, I watched six, seven, and eight back to back. I watched five on its own, and then remember. Okay, whatever. That's what. So point is, what did I think? I thought overall, it is the best live action of an anime that I've seen so far. Um, again, that I've seen so far. So I haven't, like I said, I've heard good things about the Rurouni Kenshin one and some of the other ones. But out of Death Note and Dragon Ball Evolution and the Attack on Titan one as well. Holy crap! Cowboy Bebop. Out of those ones, I do think One Piece did the best. From what I see, and I'm not saying that just because of One Piece bias. Um, I do actually think uh they did a solid job with it, and I can tell there's a lot of passion, and the people who are behind this clearly love One Piece and clearly wanted to make this as good as possible. Um, so when I rant here, when I give out any criticisms or whatever, I don't take it as hate. Don't take it as I think they failed at this completely. No, I actually think it was solid. I think it was decent. I think it was like a little above average. Obviously not as good as the actual anime or the manga. Those are obviously much better. They were always going to be better experiences. But this exceeded expectations. This live action did exceed expectations. So I'll give you that. So those are my general thoughts there. And do I think this is a good starting point for anyone who hasn't seen One Piece before? I don't think it's bad. You know what I mean? I don't actually think it's a bad starting point. I do think, considering the alternatives are 1,000 episodes or 1,000 chapters, or One Piece, but even One Piece is so many hundreds of episodes, right? This is not the worst starting point. But I will also say, if you do choose this as your starting point, or if you do choose to introduce your friend to One Piece with this as a starting point, I will also say that if they do end up enjoying One Piece and they do want to keep going with it, they should probably at least reread the manga for what happened in the East Blue Saga, because this live action adapts almost the entirety of the East Blue Saga, and and they changed quite a bit. So I. It's not like you'll have a hard time understanding the One Piece story if you keep reading the manga just past episode 8 when episode 8 ends, and you keep reading after that. It's not like you won't understand the story. You will, but I because of all the changes, I do recommend just reading it from the very beginning, especially because you're already very interested now, right? You've watched the 8 episodes, you're interested, you want to know more about the story. I recommend rereading it from chapter 1. And if you're going to tell me, oh, but Ahmed, I've already watched the live action, I'm just going to repeat the same stuff. No, you won't. They changed so much in the live action that by rereading it in manga form or by watching it in anime form, you'll actually you'll still get a new experience. Just like I did watching this, right? I got a new experience watching this. This is completely different, completely new. So much has been changed. Um, so don't worry about not getting anything new. You're gonna get plenty new, and as well as getting a different story in many ways. You'll also get more in depth on the different characters. You go a bit more in depth into Luffy's character, into Zoro's character, into Nami's character, into Sanji's character, and Usopp's character, right? So all those are positives, right? And yeah, with the general stuff out of the way, let's get a bit more into this because this is supposed to be a rant video after all. Whatever that means, I don't actually really know how far I'm gonna be ranting here, but let's start with the good because I do think there was a lot of good with the live action. Um, I think honestly the first half was very well done. I barely have complaints about the first half of the live action. All right, basically all my complaints come in at the second half. so so the first half was solid. I Again, I really like how much passion they put into this, or how much passion went into this. I really like that. I really like that the people. I can tell that the people who made this, right, the people who wrote the story behind this, and who wrote the script, wrote everything around it, and how all the characters were going to interact with each other and all that. I could tell they care about One Piece. I could tell that they love the story, and that's great. I think that's great. That's fantastic. Um, so so that's why that's why I really liked watching it, right? Because it felt like I was watching One Piece or reading One Piece in a different form, in a different format, right? With real people instead of animated people or drawn people, right? Um, and having fans be the ones or fans of One Piece be behind the live action, including the actors themselves. I mean, especially Emily Rudd, right? And I know she's a big One Piece fan and anime fan in general, right? Um, but she is a One Piece fan too. So I know the actress for Nami, by the way. So I know she's a big One Piece fan, obviously. and I think she did a really good job as Nami. I think she was definitely a great actress. And when it came to, I think she did a good job with Arlen Park. We'll get there when we get there. And but the good thing about having people who care about One Piece do this live action was that all the different Easter eggs, all those kind of things were so nice to see. I really liked seeing. Okay, I probably didn't notice every Easter egg. I'm just gonna mention some things that I noticed. Right, I really like seeing the wanted posters. We saw this in the trailer as well. We've seen the wanted poster of all of different parts that we're gonna meet way later on in the story. Right, Cavendish. Hello, yeah, it makes sense that he's there because Cavendish at this time was he's supposed to be popping off. Right, this is before the worst generation really came into play. So seeing Cavendish, seeing Foxy, seeing Bellamy, seeing their wanted poster cool. Even Django's wanted poster appeared at some point. And even I saw in the last episode, Don Creek's original wanted poster appeared as well. And they changed a lot in regards to Don Creek here in the live action. We'll get into that later. Um so seeing that though the one with the poster Easter eggs was great. Seeing Kong in the end credits, right? Every single episode ends with them showing a map of the One Piece world, and then you see the Kree of Kong, who the commander in chief who wrote he was a previous fleet commander right before Sengoku. Seeing Kong there, writing down like draw this map was very cool. A great nod to Kong and his character, even though we don't get to meet him until 500 episodes into the story, even though he has like 2 seconds of screen time. I really like that he's there because it makes sense that he's the one that is there, and it shows that they care about One Piece. The person who decided to do it like that, who did that, right? Or the people who were behind that. By doing that, they show to us, the fans, right? Because all of these Easter eggs and stuff are obviously for us fans who have already watched the anime and read the manga. So for us to see them, be like, hey, that's a cool little nod to Kong. Cool, that's great. Or to Jinbei, or to what Shanks is gonna do in the future, or what Mihawk's gonna do in the future, or to Smoke, or to Crocodile, or the Baroque Works, or Garp, or whatever else. All those Easter eggs were fantastic, very well done, and they're a big part of the reason why I could tell there was a lot of passion behind it, and people who really cared for the story um, were the ones behind it. And all of that was great. Um, do I remember any other Easter eggs right off the top of my head? Not necessarily. Nothing big that comes to mind, but maybe I'll talk about it if I remember as we go along. I do remember noticing several Easter eggs though. So for off because us fans, we'll notice some Easter eggs in there. So, but yeah, I'll now get into some of my criticisms, right? And my biggest criticism, and it's probably not something that the creators could have done much about, which is why I'm not gonna be too harsh regarding this. But I'm gonna have to be honest. It's it needed to have 10 episodes. It was a little bit too rushed with 8 episodes. It was, and they didn't even adapt Loketown, so it's not like they adapted the entirety of East Blue. But it needed to have 10 episodes. It really did. And I feel like it affected the second half of their live action a lot that it only had 8 episodes. I think having 10 episodes and adapting, you know, up until the Arlen Park in 10 episodes, I think would have fixed basically all my issues with the show, almost all my issues with the show, right? Because it really needed to have those 10 episodes. I don't know why Netflix forced the create. I'm sure it's something Netflix forced them to do to only work with 8 episodes. I think 8 1-hour episodes is not enough to adapt the entirety of the East Blue. Because here's the thing, right? The first episode I thought was paced nicely. I thought it was paced just fine. The first episode, in fact, adapts the entirety of the first volume of One Piece. The second episode is when we get to Orange Town with Buggy. So that's the second volume. I think I think that's good. I think one episode per volume, one hour live action episode per One Piece volume, I think is great. I think that's fantastic pacing for One Piece. And One Piece currently has what 104, 105 volumes. I think it might be approaching 106. I think the most recent one might be 106, volume 106. So for One Piece to have 106 live action episodes when it catches up to where we currently are in the manga would be perfect. But instead, we adapt up until Arlong Park in 8 episodes, and Arlong Park ends at about volume 10, 11 ish. So we're adapting 11 volumes ish, maybe a little less. Volume 11, I think, is Loketown ish. So 10, 11, something like that. We're adapting that in 8 episodes. And I think it take at times it becomes too rushed, and I think that is something that is something I feel like maybe it's because I already read One Piece and already watched One Piece in the other formats. So maybe this is a complaint that only pertains to me, and people who watch the live action won't have an issue with it. But some things felt a bit too rushed for me, right? So if you start with episode one I actually don't have a lot of complaints about at all. Really, I don't really. I thought it was great start episode. We missed the line with Gold Roger saying that he left it all in one piece. You know what I mean? The way Four Kids did that is still goated. But I mean, again, not the biggest deal in the world. It's not a must-have. It would just would have been a nice line, and it is something that is said later on. So it's not like they were completely unaware of it, but they just for some reason they just decided not to do it with Gold Roger at the start. Um, and yeah, I don't really have an issue with the first episode. I really like the changes they did with this. I like how they had Nami meet up early with them, all even before Orange Town. I thought that was a nice way to incorporate Nami in the crew, especially the limited time the live action had to incorporate Nami early on in the story, to immediately get those vibes of the crew early on between Luffy, Zoro, and Nami. I think it's important to establish, that kind of bond between them. Obviously, at the start, they're not fully convinced that they're a crew, but they grow on each other, right? And Luffy's the gel that makes it work. So I like the first episode. No real complaints there, honestly. Very well. I think it was good pilot episode. Second episode, super impressive. I like the changes they did with Orange Town. I mean, Buggy is a little more brutal in the live action than he is in the anime manga, but it works. And a big part of it is because of Buggy's actor. This man is perfect. This man is perfect for Buggy. They could not have gotten a better actor for Buggy. Holy crap, he did such a great job. Honestly, if they ever make us, future seasons of One Piece live action, they have to make sure this guy stays as Buggy. I think he will portray Buggy perfectly, especially because he's a fan favorite character. If you're only a live action One Piece watcher, you probably won't understand why us One Piece fans love him so much and why for many people, he is one of the best characters in the entire series. And for me too, he's up there. He's up there. He's one of my favorite characters. And you might not understand just based off this live action, but when I tell this man is a legend, this man is a legend. And I think this actor easily has what it takes to portray Buggy properly. He's perfectly like eerie enough, but also goofy in the live action that I think he's gonna work so well. Especially, man, imagine Impel Down and Marineford with Buggy, and I think I have no doubts that this guy will nail it. So whoever this guy is, I unironically think this is the best casting outside of the Straw Hats. Outside of the Straw Hat, I think Buggy is the perfect casting. And honestly, Buggy is an even better cast than some of the Straw Hats in my opinion. So very very good Buggy, and I think that is part of the reason why episode two is so well done in my opinion. I think it's basically it's an amazing episode, right? I like what they did with Orange Town. I'm fine with the changes. Actually, I am actually fine with the changes, and that's the thing. You know, I went to this in an open mind, knowing that it's going to be changes, and I didn't want to get a One Piece anime copy or a manga copy. I knew there were going to be changes, so it's not. I'm not going to criticize it purely on the changes. The changes aren't what make it bad. It's how the changes may or may not negatively affect the story and the characters. That's what I'm going to criticize, right, more than anything. But the actual changes is not an issue. The fact that they change the entire thing, so it's just a circus and a circus type of thing, it's fine. And even kept some of Buggy's characteristics, right? They had Buggy try and drown Luffy in a cage rather than have Nami shoot Luffy with the cannon in the anime manga. But it works anyway because we still get to see that aspect of Buggy's personality, and I think it works. I think it works overall. And while it doesn't show Nami's hesitation to kill off Luffy, Nami's kind of bond with the crew because she's introduced so early on in the live action. It still works without having her be the one forced to attempt to kill Luffy, quote unquote. So I actually think that all that is very well done. I have no complaints there. I thought episode 2 was good. Next, we have Zero Village, which is episode 3 and 4. This adapts the Zero Village arc of One Piece. And Zero Village, for me, in the One Piece anime and manga, is my least favorite One Piece arc. And it's not even because it's a bad arc, right? It's just every other arc has something that, for me, ekes them a little bit higher than Zero Village. Just a little bit higher, right? So for me, Zero Village, is my least favorite anime manga arc. So, to my pleasant surprise, they did Zero Village splendidly in the live action. They did. I think they did a great job with Zero Village. I actually don't have a lot of complaints with Zero Village either. Yes, I could nitpick some things here and there. I mean, the biggest thing for me is that Zoro's backstory felt a little rushed for me. I think I don't think we got enough time with Queen and Zoro, and we didn't get to see Zoro use his three swords even as a child. I would would like to see that Zoro use his three sword style as a child, but or more of Queen as dad, right? Shimotsuki. So I would have liked to see that, but I mean, yeah, Zoro especially felt a little bit rushed. I mean, the way to incorporate the Zero Village arc might not have worked that well, but overall, I don't mind what they did with this. And Kuro was well done too. I liked what they did with Kuro. I like that they had Sham and Bucci be a part of part of the butlers, part of the staff for Kaya. I think it worked well, and I even don't mind that they killed off Mary. I don't mind the kill of Mary. I don't dislike the fact that they've changed it so that Luffy's the one that calls the Going Merry in tribute to Merry himself, even though he's a very unimportant character. I don't mind it all that much, right? And then Luffy going and he's gonna take care of the ship. I don't mind it all that much. I honestly don't mind the changes here. Um, yeah, and I could delve into some nitpicks, but I'll choose not to, simply because of I think they did a good job with Silver Village. Now the entire arc basically takes place in Kaya's mansion and some areas outside here and there, but it basically is Kaya's mansion, the arc, right? And now it was in the Emerald. They went to that hills, weird side, be the shore of the island, right? But I think it was solid. If I come up with more complaints, I'll tell you. But I thought I don't have many issues with Zero Village. So like I said earlier, my complaints really start coming at the second half here. Um. So to start things off, right? I think I think because of how well done the first 4 episodes were, and because the first 4 episodes actually they just straight up adapt the first 4 volumes of One Piece. I think that's why they're so well done because they feel like they have solid pacing. Baratie should have had 3 episodes. I'm convinced after watching the live action, 2 episodes was not enough to adapt it, especially because the episodes are like 50 minutes long. They're not even an hour long. They're like 50 minutes long, and it's too rushed. It needed to have 3 episodes, and I think Arlen Park as well needed to have 3 episodes. These two 55 whatever minute episodes did not cut it for me, man. It needed to be longer. I think that's why it should have had 10 episodes. This is what I've been saying from the very beginning. This is my biggest criticism, and I know that the creators of the live action couldn't do much about it. This is the schedule that Netflix gave them, which sucks. But Barati should have been episodes 5, 6, and 7. Arlen Park should have been episode 8, 9, and 10. I think that would have been perfect. I think that would have fixed my issues here. Because Barati to me was too rushed. It went by so quickly, right? They shafted Sanji's character here. I don't know what happened with Sanji's character. Like, oh no, they messed up my boy Sanji here for me, man. I think they did. I think and he even until the end of the live action, I never get that gel between Sanji and the rest of the crew. I never feel like he has a proper bond with them. These episodes went by too quickly. Sanji's backstory went by a bit too fast. I There needed to be more time for Luffy to to mash up with Sanji and Gin, right? Gin showing up, being hungry. That happened in live action, yes, but it just went by a little bit too quickly with so many other things going on at the same time. We didn't get to focus on that specific bit, right? Because we had Nami's like little betrayal of the crew, and then Arlong also coming in, and we also had the side story with Garp and Mihawk. So much going on. We didn't fully. I don't think we got enough time between Sanji and Luffy. So when he just joins the crew, he feels like he's loyal to the crew out of nowhere in a little bit. We don't get to see enough of Sanji with Luffy, in my opinion, and that's why I think it should have had 3 episodes. I think we should have had another episode just for us to get more acquainted with Sanji at least a little bit more. Um, that's what I think, and I can't say I'm also the biggest fan of I can't say I'm the biggest fan of how they did Zoro's fight with Mihawk. Now Mihawk, that's something you can get into Mihawk. So they have Garp be the one to call Mihawk on to Luffy. I'm not too sure about that. It seems a bit spontaneous. It seemed to me like a little bit of spontaneous decision from Garp's side. Like, okay, yeah, alright, Luffy's gone somewhere, right? Because Luffy evaded them by using his gum balloon and, deflecting the cannonball. Cool. Goes into the smoke, escapes. Seems like a bit of a weird spontaneous move for him to be like, Mihawk, go search for Luffy and get it, make sure he's alive. Cool, bye. Just kind of seems like, okay, a little bit weird. It's not like it's out completely out of nowhere, and I guess maybe Garp is aware that Mihawk is somewhere in the East Blue. Maybe because Garp is aware that he's hunting for the Don Krieg, but the Don Krieg matter is not necessarily relevant to Garp though. So I'm not too sure about that theory. Regardless, um, I liked Mihawk. I liked his actor. His introduction was amazing. That's an amazing introduction. And by the way, I hope they keep up with those introductions. That Mihawk introduction was amazing, and they need to keep that up because One Piece to me has some of the best introductions ever. Okay, and Mihawk's introduction in the anime was really amazing, and they did it justice here. So can I just say that? Clap on the Mihawk introduction. The way he introduced himself, like I'm a little bit busy, Garp, destroying Don Creek's fleet. The freaking cutting the ship in half, cutting his own bounty posters. Don Creek showing up like, yo, bro, you just massacred my crew. Pearl on the ground, next to friggin' Don Creek. Pearl on the ground, just dead or whatever. And then going, yeah, you woke me from my nap. Then killing Don Creek. Dub introduction. That is how you use a character and make him scary. Like, okay, and Don Creek's bounty, by the way, 17 million. Kuro's bounty was 16 million. So we just got off Zero Village and we saw, okay, Luffy just beat Kuro. This guy's a higher bounty than Kuro. And Mihawk destroyed him and his entire fleet with ease just because they woke him from his nap. That's how you introduce a character. And that is how One Piece characters are always introduced. One Piece characters are always introduced in the most ridiculous ways possible. Do you remember Kizaru's introduction? That's okay. I said I was gonna spoil anything after East Blue, but you know what I mean, alright? Kizaru's introduction, alright? Like even Aokiji's introduction, some of the top dogs, Kaido's introduction. One Piece has some of the best introductions ever. Blackbeard, oh, Blackbeard, and friggin' Doflamingo. These characters have some amazing introductions. Genuinely, really, really, really has an S tier introduction. So if One Piece, Crocodile's introduction is also really good. Basically, if One Piece continues on with these live actions, if they keep it going, something that I hope stays is the amazing introductions, because the way they did Mihawk's introduction, W. That's a fat W. That scene, I rewatched it like 5 times at least. Mihawk's introduction. That was a W. I'll give you that. I think it happens in episode 5. Even though episode 5 I think was my least favorite episode. That was a W. That actually, just for how good that is, episode 6 might be the least favorite, because that introduction alone, so sick. And I like Mihawk's character overall. I like how they made him feel a bit more serious in the live action. Eh, but I mean, he's using the M as well. But I'm not. I'm actually not too. I'm not too happy about the way they did the Zoro fight. Right? Zoro challenges the duel. Cool, sure. The entire fight, it just didn't give me the same emotion as the anime manga. I didn't feel as like pumped by it, right? And the way it ended also didn't hit me that hard. Really, it didn't, right? Zoro's vow to Luffy that he'll never lose again. It didn't hit me that hard. I don't know. There was something missing. So one big thing for me that missed as well is a specific scene with Zoro saying that when he opened up his he spread his arms and then he goes, a wound in the back is a swordsman's shame. In the anime, when Zoro says that, Mihawk kind of gives a little smile and goes, "Hey, nice words or nicely said, right?" And then gives him that big slice. In the live action, just made me go magnificent, like all serious, and then they got him. I don't know. It didn't give me the same emotions. And then when Luffy tells Mihawk that he's gonna be king of the pirates, Mihawk says, Mihawk in the live action just says, "That's even harder than besting me in combat." Whereas in the anime, Mihawk smiles a little, like It's not even that he's proud, but he's excited about like, okay, this is gonna be a big change in the world. These two, I can't kill them just yet. They're gonna make a massive impact in the world. So I'm gonna leave them alive. I'm gonna let them get stronger. So he goes, "I'm excited to see you. That's even harder than beating me." Like the way he said it in the anime manga, that feeling was completely different in live action. I think Mihawk was devoid of personality in the live action in that sense. Um, I like how they kind of brought him back around with Garp. I think in episode 7 or something, where he tells Garp like, Luffy and those young guys, they're the future. And like they're gonna, they're the ones we're gonna be like, they're the next generation, right? They're the ones you should wait on, right? Because they're gonna be a menace to society. That's what Miho was saying. So yeah, a little bit of criticism of Mihawk there, but the casting is good. Like, as in, I feel like the guy who's cast as Mihawk does a good job as Mihawk. It just they could have had him be a little bit more acted a little bit more different. And I know you can't adapt a character one to one from an anime manga to a live action. And honestly, that's fine. I mean, I was prepared for that, and that's why I think the way Luffy was done was fine, the way Zoro was done was fine, the way Usopp and Nami were fine, right? Even though it's not one to one with the anime manga, I'm not complaining about those. I'm just saying Mihawk specifically here in this case. Bug was done fantastically, even though he's a little different than the anime manga. He's still done beautifully, very very beautiful, and he's able to capture the essence surprisingly well. But Mihawk, I think I could change him a little bit. And I guess that is true for Garp as well. They made Garp a lot less goofy. Holy crap, he's more serious in the live action. He's a lot more serious. He also has what sounds like an Irish accent. I'm not that good with English accent. Please tell me I didn't get that wrong. Let me know if I got that wrong. It sounds like he's got an Irish accent. Whatever. He's a marine. He's a pirate. He's part of the pirate gang. He talks like a marine. He's got an Irish accent. Maybe not. I don't know, but he's clearly got an accent. He's very serious, doesn't laugh that much. He's not, in the manga and anime, I feel like Garp's like 70% goofy and all the 30% he's serious, but he's like 95% serious and then some goofiness where he laughs sometimes here and there. Like when he tests Luffy in the last episode, that was a little bit goofy. That's some of his goofy side coming out, but still, he's serious almost the entire time, which is a change, but it's not a change that I completely hate or dislike. I mean, it's fine. What they did with Garp is fine, right? But it just Mihawk could have been a little bit different. So yes, um, Baratier. I think a big thing is adding Arlong to the fray. I don't mind what they did with Don Krieg, by the way. Killing off Don Krieg and Pearl, Mihawk just destroying their crew just like that and moving on along. I actually don't mind that. I think that's fine. Uh, just the consequence of that is that Sanji doesn't seem to mesh that well. It seems to mesh way too well with the crew. I mean, as in, like, but I don't feel the bond. I don't feel the bond the same way I did in the anime manga. Um, and I think it could have been fixed. And this is why this is a criticism. This criticism, not just a hate. I'm not gonna hate on the live action. This is how they could have done, in my opinion. They shouldn't have had Arlong show up in Baratia at all. I think Arlong should not be Baratia at all. It should have been a lot more focused on just Sanji and Luffy, and maybe Usopp there as well, and them worrying about Zoro's wound, but also more Sanji and Luffy and Gin to get a little bit more of that Sanji bond with the Straw Hats. I think it would have been more effective, at least for me. Y'all can let me know what you think, but I think that was missing a little bit. So, yeah, and the goodbye didn't hit anywhere near as hard. Holy crap, the goodbye was terrible in the live action. Sanji just went, "Goodbye, Zeph. Thank you for everything you did to me," and just kind of gave a little tear. And while on the ship, on the Going Merry, going to the Konomi Islands where Nami's at, where the way in the anime manga they be so much harder, bro. Him kneeling, him at first going, I'm not gonna miss you. Shut up. I'm going away, and then he turns around, goes down on on the port, kneels, head down on the ground, and he says, "Thank you, Zeph." He screams, "Thank you, Zeph. Thank you for everything you did to me," while crying, and everyone else is crying as well. It's just a Zeph. Here they made in the live action, they made it a lot more personal, just between Sanji and Zeph, the relationship. In the anime and manga, it was a lot more about the Russian as a whole. They all cared for Sanji. They all wanted Sanji to leave and become a pirate and try to find his dream, the All Blue. Here, they made it a lot more personal, which isn't bad in its own right, but he's very well with even then his farewell with Zeph didn't hit as hard as his farewell in the Baratier. So yeah, that's could have been better there. Um, Next up, Arlon Park. I think Arlon Park is another arc that suffered from a 2 episode issue. With Sir Village, it worked. It's fine because Sir Village is a little bit shorter and in general doesn't have as much to tell as Baratie and Arlon Park. Arlon Park should have had 3 episodes though, especially since Arlon Park. These 2 episodes not only adapted Arlon Park, but they also adapted the ending bit and Luffy getting a bounty and everyone else reacted a bounty. That's like 20 minutes of the episode of just extra stuff. As well as Garp coming in and finding Luffy. That adds another 5-7 minutes to the episode. So we really did not get much of Arlong Park. And the consequence of that is all the fights are really rushed, right? Luffy's fight with Arlong is rushed. Um, Sanji's fight with Kurobe is rushed. Usopp's fight with Chu is not that rushed actually, but even then, I would have liked to be a little bit longer. But I don't mind it that much. I like the way we did with Usopp. We miss out on some iconic moments in Arlong Park, which is kind of saddening in my opinion because Arlong Park is my favorite East Blue arc. Um, we miss out on some iconic moments that I'll never forget. I mean, we miss out on Zoro having his wounds opened up by Arlong, and I'm going, holy crap, how are you still alive? That we miss out on that. That was such a cool scene. We also miss out on Luffy. After when Arlong is attacking him and they're fighting, Arlong is like, I'm a great captain. What makes you a great captain? You're a terrible captain. And then Luffy making that awesome speech of like, Arlen going like, you can't. Right, I remember now. Sorry. Luke was fighting with swords, right? And swords, he was trash at it. He was doing a terrible job. Arlen breaks the swords, and then pushes Luffy away. He's like, you can't fight with swords. You're trash. And Luffy says, you're right. I can't fight with swords. So Arlen's like, what can you do? What can you do for the crew? You're the captain, but you can't do anything. And Luffy says, yeah, you're right. I can't fight with swords. I can't navigate a boat. I can't cook a meal. And then he says, hell, I can't even lie. Zuko goes, oh yeah. I can't even lie. So Arlong goes, what can you do? And he goes, I can beat you up. Like that scene, we missed out on that in the live action. Now, they might have decided to skip it on that scene because it would have been a bit too corny in the live action. I understand. It might have been a bit too cringe. Um so I won't complain too much regarding missing those iconic scenes. But what I will complain about is the iconic scene, okay? Ah, the Taskete scene, or if you're gonna say it another way, the help me scene, the Nami help me scene. I think it was. I know Oda said it was perfect when he does his comment on it, but for me it was it missed a little bit, a little bit. I'm sorry, but I think it missed. It did not hit as hard. I might be a bit harsh, but here's my reasons. So, for one thing, Nami gets her money taken from her by Nezumi, and in the live action. So I'm just gonna watch how it's done in live action. She gets her money stolen from her. She runs after Nezumi, doesn't catch up, obviously. You know, goes into the tangerine fields, sits down, starts stabbing her shoulder with the arm tattoo, and stabs herself in the shoulder multiple times, going Arlong, 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 right? And then Luffy shows up, stops her. She resists a little bit, like I told you to leave the island. You don't know anything about what's going on here. And then she immediately goes, "Help me." Luffy says, whispers a little bit, "Of course." And then turns around and he says, "Of course," like multiple times, and then tells the crew to go. And then what happens after that is they see Kokoyashi village being raided by the Arlen pirates because they didn't pay up in time. Now, here's how it's done in the anime, I guess, to compare, and then I'll tell you the comparison and why. I think the anime version is still the superior version, by the way, even more than the manga. Like, I feel like they followed a little more the manga version in the live action, but I think the anime version is still the superior one here in all mediums. How it's done in the anime, Nami goes to Arlong Park after her money is taken from her, and she tells Arlong, Arlong, I had the million berry, there for you. And that's I'm remembering wrong, y'all. This is how I remember it going. She goes to Arlong Park. She tells Arlong, yo, I had the money to give you. I spent 10 years, stealing all that and earning it for you. Or earning it for you. Stealing it for you, right? Arlong goes, well, where is it then? Bring it to me and we'll get a deal. And then she tells him about Nezumi and how, Nezumi is how he ordered Messi to take the money away from me. And Arlong says, alright, too bad, girl. You keep drawing mess for me, and then laughs at her, right? And then she goes running off to Kokoyashi village. It's fine that she ran off in the tangerine field, that's not the issue. But she runs off, and then she starts stabbing her shoulder. And then, which that's another big thing. And then Luffy stops her, and then she tells Luffy, right? She tells Luffy, she goes, "You don't know anything about this village. I thought I told you to leave it, right?" And Luffy says, "Yes, I don't know anything about this village. And as you told me to leave, right?" But another thing that they did in anime is they had Nami resist a little more, the extra bit of resistance, where Nami's uh, uh, pushing all the sand onto Luffy's feet, like going, "Go away! I just go away! Leave the island! Go away! I don't want you here, right?" Luffy standing behind her the entire time, not saying a word, just letting her get it all out, letting it all out, screaming at the top of her lungs. Amazing voice acting, by the way. And then, after all the screaming, then she turns her head around while crying, almost, gives up, and then she just goes, "Luffy, help me." And and then the amazing, hat giving scene. Luffy gives her the hat. Great scene, right? Then he turns around, tells Zoro, Usopp, and Sanji that they gotta go. It's time to beat up Arlong. And then they have the walk with overtaken in the background. They skipped the walk in the live action. They didn't have the walk. Like, they walked only for a little bit, and then they immediately see the village being burning. In the anime, they walked the whole way through, all the way to Arnold Park. And my favorite bit, Luffy punches the walls on the park down, and the first thing he does is that he asks, "Which one's Arlong?" That nailed. They nailed it, and the live action could not have nailed it for like that ever, because they had Luffy fight Arlong in Karate, so Luffy already knows who Arlong is. The reason it's so beautiful in the anime because Luffy doesn't know who Arlong is. He doesn't know anything. That's the whole point. Luffy is ignorant, punches down the walls, and he goes, "Alright, which one of you is Arlong?" Right? Because from Luffy's POV, he doesn't care about which one is Arlong, but his crew member's crying. She's sad. She told him that she needs help, and so he'll beat Arlong up, no matter who he is. And that's why I love it so much in the anime. And that brings me to another criticism I had, is that Luffy heard Nojiko's in the live action. Luffy heard Nojiko's story about Nami's past. In the anime, Luffy completely goes to sleep. He's like, I'm not interested in Nami's past. I'm going to sleep. So when Luffy gets to the Nami help me scene, when Nami says, "You don't know anything about me. You don't know anything about what's going on here," Luffy says, "Yeah, you're right. I don't know anything about you. I know you told me to leave. I know. I don't know anything." Luffy said in the anime, but he says in the live action that's not completely true because Nojiko told him. And I think one of the best scenes, one of the best lessons from that scene is that Luffy doesn't care about your past or what happened in your past. He only cares about you, who you are now as a person, because Luffy can read people like that, and he's very emotionally intelligent, and I think that's amazing. Um, which I believe the live action missed out a little there. They shouldn't have had Luffy listen to Nojiko regarding the backstory. And in the anime, even Zoro went to sleep, so only Sanji and Usopp were really listening in and paying attention. So yeah, I think the live action Nami should have shown a bit more resistance when during the help me scene. I think the walk around park could have been improved. They didn't need to have overtaken during the walk. They could have had the live action's main theme play, and that would have been a million times more hype. And I think Luffy never should have fought. Arlong should have never been in Baratier. Luffy should have never fought Arlong in Baratier. Would have made the help me scene much more impactful. And then Luffy going, which one's Arlong, would have been a lot more impactful for me. Now I know what you're thinking. Know what you're thinking and what you're saying. I mean, now you just want to be a copy of the anime manga. Aren't you glad that they changed it up a little? Yes, but the consequence of changing it up also made it worse for me, at least for me. You know, and I was willing to accept changes, and I was ready for changes. It just, I think for me overall, I think it causes a negative impact for the overall emotions of the story, and I know, and I have accepted a lot of the changes, and I think a lot of the changes are good, and I think a lot of the changes are even better than they are in the anime manga. I think arguably introducing Nami earlier might have worked better. Some of the other changes they did with regards to Kobe and especially Nami, I think early on were better than he was in the anime manga, straight up. So it's not like I think the changes are all changes are bad and it needs to stick to the exact same format the anime manga did. I just think that some of the changes did in the latter half, with the way they skipped a lot of Sanji's story and that bond that wasn't properly built up, and some of the fights in Arnold Park being a bit too fast, which isn't an issue in and of itself because I don't watch One Piece for the fights. I don't care about the fights in One Piece, but it's the emotional weight behind the fights, and if the fights go by too quickly, yeah, it doesn't work all that well. So that's what I think. Um, yeah. Um, do I have anything else to say really? Um, so overall, my criticisms boil down to it should have had 10 episodes. Now there are other criticisms than just, you know, episode amount, right? Because even with 10 episodes, there are still things they did that are obviously small details and nitpicks that I think they should have changed. But still, yeah, that was my basic rant. I still think the first four episodes are great. I think if we're strictly speaking, the first four episodes, I think that's a great way to start someone off on One Piece. Honestly, I would go so far as to say this could be a hot take. Watch the first four episodes of the live action, then read the manga from After Seal Village, or watch the anime from After Seal Village, then watch everything else in anime version. And with Garp, just forget that he's an important that he's an important character early on, because then you're gonna be confused. Like, you're watching Barty and you're like, "Where's Garp at? Wasn't Garp just chasing Luffy?" Or actually, no, it works because Garp actually misses on Luffy in episode four. Episode four, right? Except episode four, the live action ends with Garp chasing after the Straw Hat, and then he shoots a cannon at them. Luffy deflects it with Gum Gum Balloon. Then they go into the fog, and then the Marines, lose sight of where the shots were at. So you could act like Garp just kind of quick chasing Luffy after that, and Garp, Kobe, and Helmeppo do their own thing in the cover story in the manga as usual, and then yeah, Garp give up on chasing Luffy. Honestly, maybe that could be a shout. Honestly, it could be a shout. Watch episode 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you like One Piece after that, read the manga or watch the anime, preferably from episode one, but if of the anime or chapter one of the manga. But if you don't want to, continue on from Zero Village after episode four in the anime, in the manga or anime. In the anime, Zero Village ends at like episode 17 or 18. You also have the Gaiman Island stuff that they skipped out on the live action, which is completely understandable. You should and could also watch that in the anime, and then I think it's episode 17 or 18. In the manga, Zero Village probably ends around chapter 40, 50, 50, something like that. So you can continue off of there. And then just sure forget that these episodes exist. This could be a hot take though, but that might be a suggestion. Just so you avoid how rushed I feel like the latter half is. But yeah, that's my opinion. And this isn't all bad. This is not to say that it was all bad. It's not like I just hate the live action. I think there was nothing good with it. They did do some good things with it. Um, I'm truly impressed by, and this is something I should have talked more about, by the character dynamics in the first four episodes. This is all the first four episodes. I think the character dynamics between Luffy, Zoro, and Nami, and eventually Usopp in the first four episodes was so good. Episode 5 onwards had some cringe dialogue, in my opinion, some weird corny dialogue between the crew members that didn't feel authentic, especially when Sanji came in and when he was arguing with Zoro. Sanji starting arguments with Zoro in the latter half just kind of came out of nowhere for me. It didn't feel authentic. It didn't. In the anime, the way it was done was much better. Whereas in the first four episodes, the crew dynamic between Luffy, Zoro, Nami, and Usopp, I feel like was done much better. There were many times where Luffy, Zoro, and Nami were interacting in the first four episodes where I genuinely laughed. I was genuinely laughing, like, like genuinely in there. But yeah, last four episodes, the crew dynamics I think kind of fell off a little bit. So overall, I don't like the latter half. I think it would have benefited from having two extra episodes in the latter half, right? Have One Piece up until the Seer Village be 4 episodes, then have Bart in Arnold Park be 6 episodes rather than four. I think it would have helped a lot. Yeah, because I don't think it's not. I don't think they're incapable of doing crew dynamics properly. I just think that they didn't have enough time to pull off the crew dynamics. I think that's really it. So yeah, the crew it was really well done the first 4 episodes though. I immediately felt the bond between Luffy, Zoro, and Nami, and their different conversations and banter together worked so well. Usopp's slides was holy crap, so funny. I think it worked. They also had, oh yeah, didn't mention this at all because I don't really care that much. They also canonized. They also properly showed off Usopp's romance with Kaya. I don't really care about this, and to be honest, since the manga, it was Usopp is basically the only straw. No, he is the only straw that has a canon, basically a canon shape with a character in the story. Usopp and Kaya, them being in love with each other, is very clear even in the manga and anime. I have no doubt that by the end of the manga or anime, if Usopp doesn't die, he'll end up with Kaya, right? That wasn't shocking. So when they kissed each other, you know, in Cedar Village in the live action, sure. I have no complaints about that. So I know some of you might be asking, I mean, what do you think about them kissing each other? The reason why I didn't mention it until now is because I don't care that much. I don't watch One Piece for the romance. It's not about the romance. There was romance in episode four, but Oda said it himself. I watch One Piece for the romance, Dawn. But yeah, Oda has said it himself. One Piece is an adventure story. Don't focus on the romance too much. Oda himself doesn't focus on the romance too much. It's interesting that the live action decided to focus on the romance between Usopp and Kaya, even for a little bit. But even the live action kind of sped through that really quickly. They didn't make a big deal out of their romance. So yeah, I just didn't make a big deal out of it. I know some people are making a big deal out of it, but I personally won't because I don't think it matters all that much. I don't think it changes anything for either Usopp or Kaya's character. Um, I do think the way Luffy was staring at them was a bit awkward. The way he then went to saying, "They do know I'm the captain, right?" But then Nami is in Zorgo and let them have their moment. So some dialogue here and there is a bit cringe, a little bit corny. It doesn't work as well because they're trying to translate obviously an anime to live action. It doesn't work that well. But still, super well done. I'm impressed by how they were able to translate anime characters and our artwork into real people, into real human beings, real believable human beings. I'm impressed with how they did that, especially because they failed in doing that in Death Note and Attack on Titan and Dragon Ball Evolution and Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, all these other Netflix live action animes that have just failed. Um, One Piece, I think, succeeded in making the characters actually feel like real people. Especially Luffy's so hard to pull off, Luffy himself. But they managed to pull him off and make Luffy a believable person. So he's obviously a bit more intelligent in the live action than in the anime. But Luffy could not be any less intelligent in the live action without not seeming real, without us just being like, this doesn't, I don't believe this is a real human being. At least now Luffy feels like a real human being, despite being sometimes a bit more intelligent, which is fair. Zoro's more stoic and more serious, but I think that works because he's supposed to be a real person, right? Um, Nami's more capable battle-wise. She's fighting people with her stick thing, baton thing. Um, then and she was always capable in the East Blue. It's not like I've forgotten that. I know that she was actually boxing people in the East Blue, but still, even here in the live action, she's fighting people more than she used to, even in the anime manga, considering everything. Uh, yeah, I guess Usopp also could have had a bit more of a moment in Zero Village, but I don't mind the way they portrayed Usopp. I don't mind the fact that he doesn't have a long nose. That's fine. Again, it's a live action. That kind of changes to be expected. And I guess with Usopp in Zero Village, he was a little in the MMO. He was a little more, when push came to shove, he really did go at it and try and beat Kuro. But he also did that here in the live action too, though. He tried signing up for Kai and Nami against Kuro, and Luffy saw that and saw the spirit in Usopp. So it's not like they completely left it out. So I don't. I actually don't mind. No, what am I talking about? This is just nitpicks. It's just nitpicks at this point. The first four episodes were very well done. I don't have much complaints there. So my rant for this basically just goes to the last four episodes. That's what I think. I think, yeah, One Piece would have benefited from this live action would have benefited from having 10 episodes. Those are my genuine thoughts. I don't have much else to say really, and so that's my rant over. I hope you guys enjoyed listening in on this rant. You probably had this video in the background. I mean, you should. There's nothing to really be looking at. I'm just looking at the episodes that I watched. Um, and yeah, uh, is this a good way to introduce One Piece to someone? Sure, sure. Especially if they're completely stubborn and will not want to watch 1,000 episodes or read manga chapters. I say stubborn. I think it's completely understandable that they wouldn't want to. I think a hot take could be, and I haven't even fully decided if it's a good idea or not yet, but a hot take could be to watch the first four episodes, then continue after that if they enjoy One Piece, or watch the first four episodes. If you enjoy One Piece by the end of episode four, then read the manga from chapter one or watch anime from episode one or One Piece or something. That could be a hot take, but y'all can let me know what you think. Maybe you guys actually enjoyed the Baratier and Oran Park arcs way more than I did. Now, with the Garp side plot, I didn't mind it too much. I don't mind that much that Kobe and Helmup have a lot more screen time and that they make Garp more serious. I don't mind it that much. Uh, I wasn't expecting it to be completely the same exact thing that it does in the anime manga, which is why I don't mind that much. Um, so again, the fact that they change things isn't an issue. It's just if there is any negative consequences, I think I will call it out. And with Garp, Kobe, and Helmeppo, and Bogart, my guy Bogart, I don't really have much to complain about. And I'm glad they gave Bogart some screen time. So because now hopefully people actually remember Bogart. Because in the anime manga, I feel like nobody remembers who Bogart is. Bro, nobody talks about Bogart. People always just mention Garp. But bro, this guy, he's chief of staff. He's vice admiral, vice captain, vice admiral. Yeah, so I don't mind it. And I like how Kobe in the last episode finally gets his training with Helmeppo. We get to see Helmeppo's character development already early on, and Kobe's character development. The character development in Kobe and Helmeppo I thought was good. I really like that. Shanks in the trailer. I guess we can mention Shanks and Luffy's backstory a little here. Shanks in the trailer, I thought he didn't look like he was properly cast. I thought he looked a little weird. Watching him in live action, nah, he's good. He's good. He's good. Shanks is good. I'm fine with Shanks. I'm fine with Makino. Um, they they didn't. Oh yeah, I guess I can mention that to you eventually. They didn't give Whoops Flap a lot of screen time, but that's That's fine. It's whoop slap, whoop slap. I bet Shanks, Makino, Higuma. That's Higuma, but he's the bandit friend. I'm wondering the bandit that went to the bar with Shanks and knocked down the glasses and the drink, right? That bandit guy, the one that eventually led Luffy to the ocean and then got eaten by the Sea King. That guy, okay? And eventually Shanks had to save Luffy and got his arm eaten. That Hikuma, that's the man there. So in case you're wondering. But yeah, I like him. I like the way they did him. I like the way they did Makino. I like they did all the bounty reactions. I like Shanks, the way the Shanks was portrayed. I like Shanks. I like Shanks and his relationship, his dynamic with Mihawk at the very last episode. I like how they met up and had that little combo celebrating with his bounty. All good stuff. I guess I said I didn't have any complaints about Orange Town. We could talk about Shushu and Boodle. Boodle, the bear of the town, and Shushu, right? I don't actually mind that they skipped Shushu, even though Shushu's story really hit hard watching the anime manga. I don't mind that they skipped it. They had time constraints. I don't mind at all. No problem. That's actually not Shushu's story is not the most important thing to be adapting. That's fine with me. And we did get a little cameo of him at the end of the episode as well as Boodle. So no complaints. No complaints. Again, I liked what they did with Buggy and the whole circus stuff, and they made him a little more, a little more sinister, brutal here, because he forced all the citizens of Orange Town to watch his little circus act and stuff. Whereas in the anime, they had all evacuated the town, and he was just brutal remaining trying to defend it. Um, Nah, I don't mind those changes. And Buggy again I think, is a perfect cast. I think Buggy's entire personality, the way he's still goofy despite everything, I think is perfectly done. I think no complaints there, no issues. So yeah, that's my opinion there with regarding Shushu and Boodle. Because I know some people might be wondering, what do you think of that change? What do you think of that change? So any change that has happened that I haven't talked about yet, that I might have forgotten. More than likely, when I saw it in the live action, I didn't mind it. I'm like, okay, decided to change like that, cool, whatever. Like for example, I just remember another change. Apparently Kabaji Zoro killed Kabaji's brother or something. He apparently had a brother or something. I'm pretty sure that was never popping in the anime manga. Again, I don't mind that causing that extra little rivalry between Zoro and Kabaji. I don't mind. I don't think it was necessary, but eh, eh, don't care. Doesn't change anything for me for Zoro and for Kawaji. I really like how they again. I really like the amount of the detail that went for all the different details and Easter eggs and stuff. Zoro fighting Mr. Seven at the start of episode one, putting nodding a little bit to what Zoro mentioned in the manga, how he killed Mr. Seven, and then they replaced Mr. Seven with a new Mr. Seven that appears in Alabasta that we eventually will get to see if they ever make a season 2 of this. So yeah, I like all that. I like that's how they decided to introduce Zoro's character. Again, the character introductions I think was genuinely good. Both Luffy's and Zoro's fighting Mr. Seven, but also Nami stealing the ship from the buggy pirates. I thought that was well done. Give us a quick little intro to Nami's character. I thought it was a very good way to introduce her to the live action. So yeah, Usopp's character introduction was just him saying that the pirates are coming, whatever. That's how he was interested in manga and anime as well. So no issues there. Sanji's introduction, him being flirty. Yeah, that's another thing I should mention about Sanji. I like that he's flirty, but he's not a sexual predator like he is in the manga and anime, which works because in real life, Sanji being like he's in the anime manga would generally be creepy. I mean, it's already considered creepy by many in the anime manga. I've gotten used to it, which probably isn't a great thing, but in real life, in the live action, if he had acted like exactly he does in the anime and manga regarding women, that would be bad. He's chivalrous. He's flirty with women. He's flirty with Nami, but it worked out. And that also had a little gag with Zoro going, Madame Nami, would you like it to have like this, like this? That was funny up until it got a bit more corny where Usopp told Nami, hey, is that your new boyfriend? And then Luffy, and then they started laughing and Luffy had this weird awkward laugh. That was a bit corny. I think they should have left it without Usopp's comment about Nami having a boyfriend in Sanji. I think, because that again, romance in One Piece doesn't make sense. I think it would have been better if you just left it at Zoro poking fun at both Sanji and Nami by going, Madame, would you like to have a drink, Madame? Would you like, showing that. Sanji gives flashback to Kirtanami, showing that the crew is aware of it, and showing us the viewers watching that okay, so Sanji's this flirtatious guy, puts special care to women, and while also making a fun dynamic comedy thing with the crew, the character dynamic, funny little scene with the crew works really well. And then Usopp's little comment I think ruined it. So that was like a big one for me. That like because up until then, up until episode 5, the character dynamic was so perfect. All the like little comedic scenes between the crew worked really really well. And then that one episode was the first one I went, wow, that was not good. Like, I didn't enjoy that. So yeah, and we got surprisingly quite a few scenes with the Strats, in the ship, even though they didn't have much time to adapt that many things. But they had some scenes in the ship where Luffy, Nami, and Zoro and Nami would say some funny stuff in between islands. Even though it was mostly just them teleporting from island to island, I was kind of expecting that to be the case. I wasn't expecting to spend much time with them on the ship. We got some actual scenes with them on the ship, though sometimes interacting with each other. So I plus there, big plus there, because that's what I love the most about One Piece is the little crew interactions in between arcs when they're just in the ship or just the crew interaction in general. Those are my favorite some of my favorite parts in One Piece in general. Just the crew, the characters. The characters are my favorite part of One Piece, right? I don't care about the fights; it's the characters, right? So yeah, I think I've talked about the live action enough now, though. Enough ranting. Um, yeah. Overall, if you haven't watched it, I think whether you are a One Piece fan or not, actually, uh, so no matter who you are, if you're into adventure uh, stories with magical devil fruit powers and stuff, yeah, check it out. If One Piece interests you in any way, if and you've never seen, you don't want to get into 1,000 episodes or 1,000 chapters, this is not the worst way to get into it. And if you're a One Piece fan and you're watching this because you're wondering, yo, should I watch it because I'm a One Piece fan, I want to see all different changes, then yes, I do actually recommend the live action, even if you are a One Piece fan already, because there's a lot of Easter eggs that you're gonna look at and be like, oh yeah, I noticed that. That's cool. I like how they did that. And a lot of different changes will be like, oh, okay, so that's how they decided to do that. A lot of that kind of stuff. And honestly, just for Mihawk's introduction, I believe in episode 5, just for Mihawk's introduction, watch it, because or watch a clip of Mihawk's introduction. You have to. That's straight up such an amazing introduction, bro. So yeah, but that's it for me, and that's my little rant. Uh, Overall, solid W. It definitely exceeded my expectations. The live action did. So good job. It's number the live this show right now actually is number one in like 80s plus something different countries. I believe it beat Wednesday, and like is currently on the road to beating Stranger Things or something like that and being number one in most countries. So it seems like the live action has been successful. It has gotten positive reviews, which is good because I do hope they make a season 2. I hope that they get 10 episodes this time around because Alabasta will need it. If they plan to adapt the entirety of Alabasta Saga, as well as Loketown, which they didn't adapt, Loketown and Reverse Mount, they are hella going to need 10 episodes, okay, to adapt the entirety of Alabasta Saga. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes in the end. But I do hope it gets a season 2 because I think this was a good first season. I enjoyed myself, and it is the best live action I've seen up until now, and I hope it continues to succeed because of that. Yeah. So I'll see you guys next time. Whenever if I ever do another rant like this, I wasn't expecting to make a rant like this. I certainly wasn't expecting to rant for over an hour, but I think I've gone for over an hour now. So all right, rant over, and I've said everything I need to say. So I'll see you guys next time. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me in the background, or maybe you were watching for some reason while listening to me, even though I was just talking the entire video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed ranting. I don't know if I enjoyed ranting. I don't know if I don't know if I enjoy talking about something that I really really love. I made this video because I really really love One Piece. By the way, can I say that I really really love One Piece? So if I'm being harsh, if I'm criticizing, it's because I really really love One Piece and I want the best for it. And that's why I hope it gets a season 2 where they can improve on things. So yeah, I really, really love One Piece. So yeah, I didn't focus on the visuals that much. The visuals are mostly okay, but I guess I can mention that the visuals are mostly okay. It never looked super horrible. I guess there were some things here and there weren't great looking visually, but otherwise the sets were beautifully done. The devil fruit CGI was well done. No big complaints there. So I guess I can make that little comment at the end there. All right. So hope you guys enjoy watching this at least as much as I enjoy doing this. If I did at all, I don't know. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, yo. Peace.